Facebook's second quarter profits came in higher than expected. Daily active users are closing in on 1.6 billion. There's always so many numbers with Facebook. What stood out to you in this quarter?
What stood out to me was the announced settlement with the FCC, actually. And
FCC or FTC?
Which is FTC. I'm sorry, FTC. I always get those academic
what? It's understandable. There are a few regulatory bodies that are sniffing around Facebook.
Yeah. So expectations for revenue were about $16.5 billion. Facebook reported 16.9, up about 28% year over year. They beat adjusted earnings guidance estimates by 12 cents, reporting $1.99. 2.7 billion monthly users across its suite of apps. U.S. and Canada daily users up slightly. Europe was flat, about 290 million. But what kind of surprised me was the revenue per user. The average revenue per user was up 18% to over $7 per user. So there's a lot of incentive to get a lot of users onto Facebook's platform, and that's part of the issue.
Well, and as we've talked about before, all you have to do is go to any advertising trade publication, just do a Google search, a news search for, chief marketing officers of major brands, major corporations. Facebook is delivering for advertisers. And when that changes, then I think, and I don't want to discount the across the river where there's a number of regulatory bodies that are looking into Facebook. I mean, that is something that is going to have real costs, not just in terms of fines, but in terms of lawyers and staff hours and all of that. I don't want to discount that. But I think that as long as the advertisers are happy with the way Facebook is delivering for them, then this is not a business in trouble. No,
not really. And really, Facebook is a lot of this is Facebook's own fault. The settlement, the $5 billion settlement, which sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but Facebook brought in $16 billion in revenue in just 3 months. $5 billion payout. They've already set aside $3 billion, and they have almost $50 billion on the books. So it's not going to really hurt them. It's 3.3 months of free cash flow, for goodness sake. But the whole thing was over Facebook breaking previous promises about not doing bad things. And I mean, they've long been turning users into product, and they had promised to stop sharing user data, but they didn't. And they had promised to stop using phone numbers for advertising purposes, and they didn't, and all this other stuff. And so they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. But as that $7 per user number points out, there's a lot of money driving that kind of behavior. And whether Facebook can pivot to where they can satisfy regulators, satisfy their users about privacy concerns, and still make an equally large amount of money is a big issue for the company, and we're going to have to see how that plays out. And over the last 2 years, they've done a better job of monetizing Instagram. Right. Instagram and WhatsApp, and I don't know what all they have. Messenger, or is that the name of it? Their instant messaging app. But yeah, they're gung ho on stories. There's more people turning to stories, and they'll figure out how to monetize that. But I don't have a Facebook account, partly because I don't trust the company, and I think that is a potential issue for the company if they continue to say one thing and do another. I don't know. I don't think that'll destroy the company, but it might make advertisers start looking elsewhere if the company's reputation gets damaged badly enough.